So, situation is my dad had a heart attack a few months ago and he's recovering from it, and we're in that process of he's doing okay with the recovery process, but I noticed today there's kind of like fear of connecting with him because I feel like things are going to turn into we were never close, like or that close. So I feel that kind of fear of letting him in my life again and kind of like go back to what I used to think, and basically afraid of having a relationship with him. I think
Mhm.
it's the point.
Okay. Yeah. So, what would be the stressful thought to question here? I'm afraid of having a relationship with him, or is there something specific you're afraid of?
I think it comes down to I'm afraid of seeing him as I saw him before, like unhealthy relationship and having bad times, or judging him in my mind for different things that he says or acts or things like that. So I think it could be like afraid of connecting with him right now because that's going to make me feel like I felt in the past.
Hmm. Okay. So, is that true? If you connect with him right now, it's going to make you feel like you felt in the past.
Yes.
And can you absolutely know it's true? If you connect with him, it's going to make you feel like you did in the past.
Yes.
So, how do you react? What happens when you think connecting with him is going to make you feel like you did in the past?
I start feeling hotter, like my hands are a little bit sweaty. I feel like I get into like a defensive position before he says anything. So I'm like ready and not take anything like with softness, I guess, or yeah, like being ready for a punch or something like that. I feel like under pressure, like I'm being forced to doing something, and I feel like that rush of adrenaline a little bit inside of me. I feel like afraid right away of letting that happen and putting myself in a bad position right now. I see how I'm like kind of struggling in my head to decide if I should stop it or let it happen. And can't I keep seeing how bad things from the past get connected to this moment, and it's like my mind is trying to find explanations, and like it keeps going back to times where I should stop something from happening and I didn't, and I just kept allowing him to interfere with my decisions or just be there. So I keep wondering if I should let that happen because interfere in a way again with the, how things are now.
Do you feel it in your body anywhere?
Yeah, I feel like in my back, it's like starting to build a lot of weight. Like I feel the stress in my neck, like I'm sweaty and
So, who would you be without this thought? Connecting with him is going to make me feel like I did in the past.
without the thought, I can see him as he is and not expecting him to be different because he had a heart attack. Hmm. I can see that it's a known territory. I know how he makes some comments sometimes and how he behaves sometimes. So without the thought, it's like I already know what's going to happen, so it's not coming out of nowhere anymore. So it's known. So I can feel that lighter.
And what do you see when you look at yourself without the thought that connecting with him is going to make me feel like I did in the past?
I see me as a little bit more open person than what I was before. I see him. I see myself as somebody that needs to connect with his father, and that's not a bad thing.
So, how would you turn the thought around? Connecting with him is going to make me feel like I did in the past.
Connecting with him is not going to make me feel like I felt in the past. Hmm. That makes sense. I'm not the same person I was before, like many years ago.
Mm-hmm. And how specifically are you not the same person?
I feel like thanks to the work, I'm more open to question things and not just take it by. If somebody says something, I'm more open. Specifically him, I'm more open to question it and not just take it believing in what I think he'd try to say or something like that. So
Mm.
at least I question it, and that feels lighter.
It's interesting how when you question your own thinking, it actually becomes easier to question other people's thinking too when they try to tell you to do something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep going. How are you not the same person? Like if he tries to interfere with your decisions again or something, which could happen, um, what are there any other differences that support you now as opposed to when you were younger?
Well, I have more experience now in general in life, so I can understand better what he went through as well and have compassion for that instead of just judging it like when I was younger and not understanding exactly what he where he was coming from. So
Hmm.
a lot of things that from what he said make a lot more sense now that I have kids too.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And how might he be different as well? He may be just the same, but it's if there could be any difference on his side. Is that possible?
Yeah, he is different in ways too. He's more open to talk, and that's something that he didn't do before. So that's a big difference right there.
Yeah. It's like you can get stuck on the version 1.0 of your father, and he's maybe on 2.0 by now, and you are also on 2 or 3 or 4.0 yourself. So, yeah, the assumption is it's going to be the way it was before. But is that really true?
Hmm. And I can see how my mind like tries to send me back to the moments where I was younger and show me, but look at this, look at that. It's like, but we're not there anymore. So,
Right, right, right. So, any other turnaround? Connecting with him is going to make me feel like I did in the past. How about not connecting with him is going to make me feel like I did in the past?
oh, that one is true. It's like what keeps me thinking the same thing I've been thinking for 20 years or something like that. So that's totally true.
No new data, just the same old data from way back.
Right. That makes so much sense. And I like closed the door to get new data from him. It was just what I think I knew, and that's it. Nothing else. It didn't update at all. Hmm.
It's almost impossible. It's very hard to move past how I felt in the past if there's no new data. It's possible, but it's much harder.